There's a belief baked into commercial sales operations that bigger is better. Bigger list, bigger TAM, bigger contact database, bigger dial volume, bigger sequence enrollment. The unstated assumption is that volume creates pipeline, but it does not commercial services and not in any other market where the buying windows are narrow. The decision makers are specific and the cost of wasted labor is high. I want to make a precise argument here because it matters. Volume is not the variable that controls pipeline in commercial sales. AIM is. And bigger lists almost always make AIM worse, not better. So here's why. When you load a rep with an account list of 5,000, you're not giving them more opportunity. You're giving them a navigation problem. They cannot work 5,000 accounts. On a focused week with depth, they can work maybe 80 to 120 accounts max. So the list does not expand their capacity. It dilutes their focus. The accounts that actually matter get the same treatment as the accounts that do not because the rep cannot tell which is which from a static row of data. Every account looks like every other account when they're all rendered as name and address and a phone number, right? So a smaller, better list reverses that dynamic. So if a rep gets 80 accounts that are actually in motion right now, accounts where there's real operational pressure, a real vendor evaluation window, and a real decision maker who can take a meeting, they can work those 80 accounts with the kind of depth that produces real conversations. They can call multiple times, they can send a tailored email, they can leverage LinkedIn, they can leave a thoughtful voicemail, they can sequence properly, right? The accounts get worked the way commercial sales actually requires. That's the difference. So the big list, it looks like there's more opportunity there on the planning side, but the small list is more opportunity in actual practice because every record on it is closer to a real conversation than 5 wrong records on the bigger list. Now, there's a second layer here that almost nobody talks about. Bigger lists degrade the quality of every channel they touch. Cold email reputation collapses when you send to thousands of irrelevant or stale records. Dialer connection rates fall when most of your numbers are wrong or attached to people who have no reason to engage. CRM hygiene erodes when reps mark hundreds of records as non-responsive without any meaningful disposition, right? So LinkedIn outreach, that gets flagged when you blast generic messages at the accounts with no real fit, and retargeting audiences get polluted with traffic that was never going to convert. Direct mail, that spend gets absorbed by mailboxes that go straight to the trash, right? So every channel in the stack performs worse when the inputs are worse. But every channel performs better when the inputs are better. So that's not a marketing opinion. That's an operational reality. So when an operator says that they want more leads, what they actually need is better inputs, not more rows, better signal on the rows, not a wider net, a more accurate net, not a bigger TAM, cleaner motion inside the TAM they already have. So here's a test I would run if I were sitting inside your operation. Take your last 90 days of outbound, look at every account that your reps actually worked. Now look at how many of them turned into a real conversation. Now look at how many turned into a fit conversation. Now look at how many turned into a deal, right? So the drop off from list size to actual deals is almost always shocking. Most operators have never sat with the math in those terms because their dashboards do not surface it that way. The dashboard reports activity. The dashboard does not report waste, right? So if that math is making you uncomfortable, the next move is a commercial growth diagnostic at commercialcontractsolutions.com. We'll run that ratio with you against your own data. The fix is not a bigger list, right? The fix is a sharper one, and the sharpening of the list is not a matter of effort. It's a matter of having the inputs to do it. So that is what Commercial Contract Solutions provides. We narrow the working pool from thousands of accounts to the smaller set that is actually in a buying window this week with the validated path to the decision maker on each one, delivered straight to your CRM, dialer, or sequencer. We update them daily, and it's built for commercial trades like HVAC, fire protection, cleaning, plumbing, electrical, security, and the rest, right? So the rep keeps the same 8 hours. The hours just land on accounts that can actually convert. So that's the input layer. That is the leverage point. And that's the difference between a commercial sales team that grinds for output and one that converts because the aim is right. So if your team has been told the answer is more and the math is not working, the answer is probably better, not more. So go ahead and book your commercial growth diagnostic at commercialcontractsolutions.com, and we'll look at what better actually means inside your category and territory.